Okay, this is like a new Gibson SG, one of the historic models, that had a Maestro tremolo on it, which is the Vibrola. Looks like this. This is the tremolo that was on it. Lots of little screw holes and nice damage that was done to the guitar with regard to impressions and stuff like that. So I filled the screw holes. I filled the screw holes a while ago with the same species of mahogany that the guitar's made out of, with grain that's pretty compatible to where the screws were on the guitar itself. And I've been just drop filling it over a series of a couple of months, make sure everything's going to be right. I'm going to try to make this repair as invisible as possible within reason. You can never eliminate the halo around a dowel or a plug completely, but you can minimize the effect it has on the guitar based on the colors around it. So I basically used the exact same species, colored and finished those pieces that I cut out as the same way Gibson would actually do it, with the same materials, same color dye, and all that stuff. It takes a long time just to get those done, because they have to age and be the same color before you put them on, or else you'll have like weird bright spots and stuff like that. So this is basically where I'm at now. You can obviously see with some of the reflection that they're visible, but they're essentially not very visible. There was a numerous number of dents on the guitar from the tremolo itself, and you know, this is basically an update on what I've been doing to it. This one here is pretty much invisible. I mean, you can't really see it too well. These look pretty good. This is an area I've been wet sanding. What you do is, once you drop fill, this is what the drop fills sort of look like. Okay. Once you plug the holes, you drop fill them. When you plug the hole, you want to get it to the level. If the plug is pre-finished, you want to bring that to the level of the guitar, but slightly under. About a thousandth of an inch is pretty close, because the lacquer they put on these, they use very minimal coating. Though it is built up, it's not a heavy coat like a polyurethane type of coat or another type of finish, catalyzed finish or whatever. So you can drop fill up to the level of the guitar. Then you basically take a tool such as a razor blade, like this one here, and you tape off essentially the cutting edge of the razor blade with preferred tape you'd like to use. I like to use a paper, old-fashioned style masking tape, because it doesn't really scratch the guitar. It's paper. Some of the cellophane tapes people use with a lacquer finish, they're kind of delicate. You can dig into the finish and make lines and not even realize it. Whereas you're scraping, you can scrape off a piece of lacquer, you can get caught, and you're making lines all over the guitar and you don't even realize it. So I like to use this because it just sort of keeps everything happy as it's going. And you scrape down a high spot, which looks like this. Okay. Then once you get to that point, you're basically at this point. So no, this is a dent that was in the guitar. This is a plug right here. Let's get through the camera. That's a plug, but you can't really see. I mean, that's, a lot of people don't like to do these types of repairs because they are very difficult to achieve what I would call an acceptable result. Meaning, you shouldn't be able to see these types of repairs. Now we have two different sheens and different textures of finish going on, because I have started to level these out with 400, and then next grid will be 600 and 800,000, and then 15, and then 2,000, and I polish with a lacquer polish. I don't sand any higher than 2,000 because Gibson, I think it'll only sand up to, these guitars, I believe they sanded up to maybe 800 or 1,000, and they just buff the living daylights out of them. It's just their style of doing it. Everybody has their own way, every company, and their reasons are probably just to save time. So I'm basically doing the same thing that they would. But if you look at how some of this is actually, this is another plug that I did right here. Try right there. Next to it, you've got some other interesting grains, so it sort of blends in. And from reasonable distance out, you can't really I mean, this is probably a foot away, and they're not very visible. You know, I'd be surprised if somebody really notices this at all until they look closely at the guitar and go, this was plugged. But this is for resale in a music store, so they will be notified of it. This is a professional, what I would call a factory professional style of repair, although factory repairs like this don't happen anymore. Years ago they would just plug these types of holes when they would put on a tremolo with either mother of pearl or just they would just color the bolts over. They would just put studs in here and just color them with wax or filler, and then spray them like they would spray the guitars. They're pretty ugly sometimes, but this is acceptable. I've done numerous types of repairs like this for customers and other music stores, and always achieving success for them, and something that I can live with, so that I can let it go out, because I'm, being very particular. You got to let it go eventually. You can't keep working it to death, or you're going to cause problems. So this is basically the way you do it. All right, here you go.